Howdy. It is, what is it? July something. July 17th. Yay! July 17th at 8:59 p.m. I just had an inkling that I would do yet another mental health video. Yeah, the experiment that about doing one every day, yeah, that's not going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I thought I would try it anyway. So, yeah, so that's where we are, and I haven't actually been posting anything, and yeah, last time I spoke with my therapist was like 2 weeks ago. She urged me to do a video where because I expressed to her that I felt alone in what I'm going through, the challenges that I face, that sort of thing. And because if you're in this sort of sphere, if you've gone through therapy, if you suffer from a serious mental illness, you're inevitably going to hear you are not alone, which I have really never liked hearing, because for the first thing that pops into my mind is, and I've said this in other places, is great. Now I know that other people are suffering too. Fantastic. That doesn't really brighten my mood in any way whatsoever. And the other thing is that I'm becoming more aware of is I don't fucking believe it. Now, it's strange to say that because I've been incarcerated. I've been in mental hospitals. I've done extended stays where I have been around others who also suffer from bipolar. I met someone who was schizophrenic, and other diseases, mainly people who suffer from depression symptoms. We very rarely ever get involved in the actual diagnoses. It's not like we get in and be like, hey, what are you in for? It's just kind of organic. So, yeah. Sorry, I got confused there. Squirrel. At some point I'll talk about the irritation that I have about the fact that I'm now convinced that I have ADHD, and I can't get medical, I cannot get prescribed the medication that I need, which I agree with my therapist, I think is the missing piece to all of this, because things have been getting better. Things are falling into place. There's just that extra thing that I need to put myself over it. In a sense, I have hope, oddly enough. But anyway, getting back to I am alone, or you are not alone, is despite my being in these situations, despite my being in the company of others who suffer as I do, or suffer in a similar way that I do, in my everyday life, I don't see that. Because depression, because bipolar is real, particularly those of us who are good at it, who are good at masking, who have learned through trial and error how to be or give the illusion of being productive. We can mask, and so you don't see it. It's not obvious. And when the mask falls, we isolate, or I isolate. So no one sees me when I'm at my worst. Or very few people have seen me when I'm at my worst. And that's, on purpose. Mainly, it's on purpose because I have no fucking energy to do anything, but also I learned a long time ago nobody wants to see that shit. So from a day-to-day standpoint, I don't see other people suffering from it. I don't hear people talking about it. I don't hear people mentioning or discussing the struggles that they've had with mental illness, at least not openly. Which is funny because I'm putting this on a channel that is not advertised. And granted, it's not behind a paywall or it's not privated in any way. It's just, I've got, last I checked maybe a month ago, I've got 4 subs. So it's not like this is going to get widespread widespread views, I suppose. But no one talks about it. No one puts it out there. No one's open about it. So I don't see it. So therefore, in my mind, very much like a college professor, if they don't see you working, then you're not working. If I don't see people suffering, then they're not suffering. Hi, Luna. What are you doing, Luna? Stop licking my Coke. So yeah. And I understand, and this is the whole thing with bipolar, or at least with my experience with bipolar, is that you have your emotional brain and you have your intellectual brain. From an intellectual, objective standpoint, I realize that I am not suffering alone in this. I realize that there is a good possibility that people I know, and people I know fairly well, are suffering in a similar sort of way. But because... Fine, Luna, just lick the bottle. Go ahead, go nuts. Because I don't see it, because I don't hear it, because I don't know, because I would be only left with, context clues, which is nice for speculation, but little else. I'm not going to... I despise when others diagnose other people with serious mental illness. It's, we don't go around saying, oh, he's limping because he has bone cancer. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't see it. I don't feel it. It doesn't matter to me that intellectually I know, objectively I know that there are others suffering. Because the emotional part of me says that that's fucking bullshit. Because I don't see it. Because I don't know that it's there. And yeah, I know that that's a somewhat ridiculous view to have, that if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. But there you go. This sort of shit is not rational, and anyone who pretends that it is either lying or selling you something. The other thing about it is that I don't see systems in place for it. Like for physical handicap, physical disabilities. Although there aren't a lot of those either. Don't get me wrong. But there are handicap spaces. There are ramps going into every building. There are things that you can see. Occasionally you'll have Braille on plaques or on door numbers in buildings. You can see that there is a system in place. As anemic as it might be, you can see that there is a system in place that acknowledges that these disabilities exist and attempt to help those who suffer from them. In my experience, there is in no way any evidence of systemic or of any kind of systemic health or really recognition of serious mental illness, of bipolar, for example. I have railed that I hate using the blanket term mental illness, but no systemic support for people who suffer from depression symptoms or anxiety symptoms, things of that nature. In college, we've gotten better about it, and there is some debate as to whether or not the pendulum has swung too far or not. But we have disability services now recognizes that things like test anxiety, that social anxiety, that these do exist, and so you can get accommodations for extra time or taking an exam in a isolated room or what have you. The accommodations can be made to make the testing experience as easy for you as they can do so. But that's for anxiety. It's not, I don't see it for depression. I don't see systems in place where if I have an extraordinarily bad week, but I have a test in there, there is no system in place where the professor is required to accommodate me and allow me to retake an exam that I took or that I missed because I couldn't get the fuck out of bed. There's nothing like that in place. And if one wants to argue then that there shouldn't be something like that in place, well, then that at least would be a conversation. I highly, highly disagree with that idea. But at least that would be a conversation. We're not even having that fucking conversation. No one is having that fucking conversation. We give fucking lip service to mental health. We equate mental health with wellness. Fuck that shit. It took me forever to recognize that meditation is actually helpful. Because when I think of wellness, the way I was raised, when I think of wellness, I think of fucking dirty hippies. I think of crunchies, sitting around playing bongos, talking about Eastern mysticism. Bullshit. And meditation is part of that. But the problem is, meditation is fine. I have found that wellness techniques are fine for those of people who are fucking healthy, but are suffering from momentary lapses or momentary episodes of heightened anxiety, anger, that sort of thing. They do nothing or are they are not nothing. One, they are incredibly hard to implement when you are in the throes of a depressive episode. You literally do not have the energy to meditate. I know that's weird, but meditating is a purposeful thing. You have to sit, or you have to get into an appropriate position, and you have to mentally go through the meditative exercise. It's not just simply about emptying your brain. It's usually guided meditation is about sensing different parts of your body. There are numerous different types, but it's not just simply om. It's not emptying your brain, because honestly, that's not fucking possible. So it requires energy to meditate. It requires energy to exercise, to get those endorphins. I fucking hate that bullshit. If I could exercise, you're telling me that, you feel bad, go exercise. You'll get some endorphins, you'll feel better. If someone tells me that, they fucking do not understand depression. Clinical fucking depression. I don't have the energy for that shit. Honestly, if I had the energy to go walk around, then I honestly don't think I'm clinically depressed. Sorry, I've got hairs everywhere. Thank you, Looney. So, and that is a conversation that, again, I don't think people are having, is that, it almost seems like that exercise and meditation, deep breathing, rhythmic breathing, these are techniques to help with alleviate depression. No, they're not. They can alleviate sadness. They can alleviate a certain amount of anxiety. But if you're in a fucking panic attack, then If you get real good at it, I do not suffer from panic attacks, so I don't know. But if I'm as incapacitated during an oppressive episode as I am as someone else is during a panic attack, that is not easy to tell them to calm the fuck down and count to 10 slowly. That is stuff for healthy people who are experiencing some momentary or situational heightened emotive state. Like I said, you hear someone, you hear that your mother died, or your cat died, or you find out that you have an unexpected expense in your bank account, and it has basically caused a steam roll of bullshit, of late fees, and it's turned your account negative. You have this momentary, holy fuck, what am I going to do, anxiety moment. That is not the same as having generalized anxiety disorder. That is a situational response. My generalized anxiety disorder is that I can just be fucking sitting here and I can have the irrational thought, and this, for my 30s, this was actually a very prominent thought when I was trying to get to sleep. I felt that there was something that I did that was illegal and that the cops were going to come to my door and fucking arrest me in the middle of the night. Obviously, it was not debilitating, but it was just enough of a fucking paranoid anxiety that I could not sleep well. I still kind of have that. That's what generalized anxiety is to me. Is this feeling that when I'm just sitting here, there is really no stimulus to be the root cause, is that something in my head just decides, Rob's gonna get fucked with right now. And then it just pops in your head of, hey, what if you did have a reoccurring, an unexpected bill, and your account is currently negative, and and all of your auto pays are causing you to get more in the negative with late fees and all that. I have not looked at my account. I have simply sitting here eating a meal, and that pops into my fucking head. On a regular occurrence, there are techniques that that I can use for this sort of thing that I've gotten through therapy, particularly CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And I've talked about in the past how problematic those are, or particularly in their usage. But getting back to I feel alone in this, is that I don't see systemic things in place for people suffering as I do. Granted, I don't know what could be in place. There are no EpiPens for this sort of shit. There is no first aid kit for this sort of shit. But there needs to be something. And there needs to be something other than 999 or whatever the fucking the suicide hotline is. Yeah, because that, I don't know. That's what frustrates me so much, is that either I get this surface level sort of bullshit of do yoga, meditate, use these coping skills, or you are going to a hospital, or you have to call someone and say, hey, I am fucking thinking of killing myself, help me. I hate to tell people this, but there is a huge range of crap in between those two situations. There is a range of, I don't fucking have the energy to get up and shower. I don't have the fucking energy to do homework on a regular basis, or to do my job properly, or promptly. I do not have the energy to interact with people. And again, this is my own experience for bipolar. I have no idea what it's like to be schizophrenic. I have no idea what it's like to have that range of symptoms. I mean, or to be bipolar 1, where I have to deal with potentially going into a manic episode, which, from what I've heard, those are, those are fun. So, yeah. Just frustrated the whole fucking thing. And yeah, I do feel alone. Because I don't see these things. And people don't talk about it. They don't talk about it openly. People, celebrities will say, yeah, I was depressed here, or what have you. I'm like, great, okay. Situational depression is a thing. It is an illness. But it is not chronic. That is what I don't see. That is what I do not have, do not feel as if I am. Or that is the structure that I don't see that accommodates me. That is why I think that I am alone in this, or feel that I'm alone in this. Because, again, and I'm irritated, so I'm choosing my words poorly. So I hope I can be forgiven for some of these takes. Or if you have a reaction to this, please ask me to clarify. But, when someone comes out and says, I understand, mental illness is a big thing. I was depressed for X amount of time and all that. To me, that's good. What isn't good is, again, that gives a misleading accounting or misleading picture of what depression or what, say, bipolar 2 looks like. This idea that you are depressed, but then you get better. That's not what bipolar 2 is. That's not how any of that works. You don't get better. You manage it like any other chronic illness. Diabetes, lupus, anything. Any sort of chronic illness that there is no cure for, you can mitigate the symptoms. The best I could possibly ever hope for is some sort of remission state where I can go for an extended period of time without having a depressive episode. Don't know what the fuck that feels like. Never had it. But that's a goal. I mean, that's a possibility if I could figure out what the fuck is going on. So I think that in the media, there's still, yes, more light is being shown on it. More light is now on the problem. There is more awareness to mental illness, but there's just still not enough, and I don't see forward momentum. And at worst, I see, don't get me started on fucking mental health days. Do you ever have a physical health day where you just decide to fuck off work because, hey, you feel tired? Or your ankle hurts, so you're like, fuck it, I'm going to take a physical health day. And that be an acceptable thing to do? No. No one does that. So why is taking a mental health day acceptable? The problem I have with it is that, to me, that trivializes what it is to have a mental disease or mental disorder. Like, I can just simply take a day and, things will be better. A mental health day, if you using that term, again, is helpful for alleviating everyday stress. It is helpful for situational emotional states. Your cat dies. You take a mental health day. You call in sick to work. Day, 2, whatever. Hell, go on vacation. If you need to take a week or so off to deal with that. Although there's more to talk about in that realm. But the point is that isn't mental illness. That is not a chronic mental illness. So again, I hear that term and I feel like it's trivializing. It's like, oh, go take a mental health day. Make yourself feel better. Fuck you, that's not how this works. My brain chemistry is fucked. I have to be on the stick all the time to cope with the bullshit that my brain chemistry is throwing at me. I'm not going to take a day off and be okay. I need more than that. I probably do need that, but I need more than that. And again, this is very well could be very much of a me problem, but it feels as if at this point mental health is akin to it's kind of like the mental health movement deals with colds, scrapes, cuts, where I have fucking cancer. That does not help me. And actually it makes things worse because it makes people think, oh, we are actually talking about this. We are actually shining light on this problem. We are educating ourselves on this. No, we're fucking not. People are not educating themselves on this. I can't remember who it was, but I said to somebody, I said to somebody that because of my illness, one of the things that I am very much guilty of is flaking on people. Because I cannot predict what I'm going to feel like the next day, let alone 3-4 days down the line. So it could be that I make a plan to, live stream with somebody on Saturday, and it's Wednesday, and I'm good. Like, I am rip-roaring to do it. And then shit happens. And I'm not well on Saturday, and I can't do it. Although, to be fair, maybe I need to try harder. I don't know, because it got to the response that I got was effectively do it anyway. Which, again, to my mind is pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Walk it off. Just do it. Well, if I could just do it, I would never have a fucking problem. And because I have a problem, that means I'm not just doing it, which means I suck. I am at fault, and I am a piece of shit. That all ties into everything. I was raised with that, and to still hear people tell me this sort of shit now tells me, particularly well-meaning good people who tell me this tells me that people are not fucking getting educated. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to do some work, but I realized I got files in different locations, and I don't know. I just can't seem to just do it. I can't seem to just take a task and run with it. Like, there are things that I could be doing right now. They're fairly mundane. Emailing some people, looking up some information, that sort of thing. But right now, I consider it to be extremely boring. And so I have no motivation to do it whatsoever, which may very well be a common thing, and that may be a me problem, or it may be tied to ADHD. I don't fucking know. The problem is, I have this problem. I don't know what to fucking do about it. You know, like looking up, for example, trying to find... I'm a part of the Planetary Society. I can't seem to log into their website, and this actually seems to be a very regular occurrence because I don't really follow up on it. So every time I come back, I have to think about what is my username, what is my password, and the username and password, I think it tells me that I'm locked out, that I have to contact an administrator. Every time I sit down to do that, say, all right, I'm going to deal with this, there is this block of, it's not going to help, it's going to suck, you're going to use this energy, you're going to waste time that could be better spent on things that will make you feel better. And so I don't do it. And I need to and I want to contact the Planetary Society to ask them if they want to take part in or participate in the Space Day event on campus on September 20th. I think it's a simple thing to do, and why is it so hard? Why do I have to fight so fucking hard to do something so fucking simple? Because I can't just do it. Okay. I think this is enough self-indulgent bullshit for one night. So, yeah. Catch you on the flip side. Peace out. Clear skies.